The air hung heavy, thick with the stench of death. Smoke billowed, obscuring the blood-soaked ground. Merriment, her armor dented, her spirit wearier, surveyed the carnage. Victory felt hollow. Each battle chipped away at her soul, leaving her emptier than before. She yearned for peace, for an end to the endless fighting that consumed her days. Merriment, despite her fierce exterior, carried a heart burdened by loss. The war had taken everything from her, family, friends, and any semblance of the life she once knew. All that remained was a burning desire for revenge, a need to make her enemies pay for their crimes. But deep down, beneath the layers of anger and pain, a flicker of hope still remained. Exhausted, Merriment stumbled away from the battlefield. She found herself drawn to a distant grove, its lush greenery a stark contrast to the desolation surrounding it. As she pushed through the foliage, a sense of tranquility washed over her. Birds sang sweetly, their melodies a balm to her weary soul. A small cottage stood nestled within the grove, smoke curling invitingly from its chimney. A man, his back to her, tended to a wounded bird, his touch gentle and reassuring. He hadn't noticed her, his attention solely focused on the creature in his hands. Merriment, intrigued, found herself hesitant to break the peaceful silence. Merriment cleared her throat, the sound startling the man. He turned, his eyes widening in surprise. He was older than she expected, his face etched with lines that spoke of hardship and wisdom, yet his eyes held a warmth, a kindness that disarmed her. He spoke, his voice soft and soothing, like the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. He welcomed her, offering her food and shelter. Merriment, wary at first, found herself drawn to his tranquility. They spoke for hours that day, sharing stories of their past, their voices a low murmur against the backdrop of the forest. As days turned into weeks, Merriment found solace in the man's presence. They worked side by side, tending to the wounded animals he had taken under his care. He spoke of peace, of forgiveness, his words slowly chipping away at the walls Merriment had built around her heart. One night, under a canopy of twinkling stars, they shared their dreams. Merriment, for the first time, allowed herself to imagine a life beyond the battlefield, a life filled with love and laughter. The man listened patiently, his silence more comforting than 1,000 words. He, too, dreamt of a world without war, a world where compassion reigned. Section 5. A revelation of hope. The man, Merriment learned, was not a stranger to war. He had fought in battles, witnessed the horrors she had. But instead of seeking revenge, he had chosen a different path. He dedicated his life to healing, to mending the broken pieces of a world ravaged by conflict. His story resonated deep within Merriment's soul. For the first time, she saw an alternative to the path of vengeance she had clung to for so long. The man's unwavering belief in peace, in the power of forgiveness, planted a seed of hope within her, a seed that yearned to grow. Section 6. The Weight of Choice. News arrived from the front lines. Merriment's enemies were weakened, vulnerable. This was the chance she had been waiting for, the opportunity to finally exact her revenge. Her heart ached with conflicting emotions. One path promised retribution, the other an uncertain future filled with the man's quiet strength and unwavering love. The weight of her choice pressed down on her, suffocating her. She looked at the man, his face etched with concern, his eyes reflecting the turmoil within her. Could she really abandon her quest for vengeance? Could she turn her back on the anger that had fueled her for so long? Section 7. Love's Triumph. Merriment stood at a crossroads, her heart a battlefield of its own. On one side, the allure of revenge beckoned, promising a bitter satisfaction. On the other, the man's love offered a haven, a chance for a life she had never dared to dream of. In the end, it was love that triumphed. The love that bloomed amidst chaos, nurtured by shared stories and whispered dreams under a canopy of stars. Merriment realized that true strength lay not in vengeance, but in choosing forgiveness, in embracing a future filled with love and peace. Section 8. A New Dawn. The decision made, a weight lifted from Merriment's shoulders. The anger that had festered within her for so long began to dissipate, replaced by a newfound sense of peace. The world, once painted in shades of grey, now burst with colour. She looked at the man, his hand outstretched towards her, and saw not just a lover, but a kindred spirit, a beacon of hope in a world consumed by darkness. Hand in hand, they turned their backs on the battlefield, leaving behind the echoes of war and stepping into the warmth of a new dawn. Section 9. Towards a peaceful horizon. Their journey wouldn't be easy. The scars of war ran deep, and the world outside the haven they had built was still filled with uncertainty. But together, Merriment and the man, bound by love and a shared vision of peace, faced the future with courage and hope. They dedicated their lives to healing, not just the wounds of the land, but the wounds of the soul. They became beacons of hope, their love a testament to the power of compassion in a world that had forgotten how to forgive. And as the sun set on their first day of a new life, they knew, with unwavering certainty, that love, not war, would be their legacy.